What up, everybody? I got some Power Book related news to talk about today. The tentative Power BMF release schedule for the rest of 2024, 2025, and what it means moving forward in 2026, as well as a new article with STARZ Director of Programming concerning the Power franchise moving forward. Starting off with what I would call the bad news to report, because I always want to get that out of the way first. And in this situation, the bad news doesn't even get close to comparing to the good news. And it's not even 100% confirmed yet, either though I do believe that my source is reliable. And that is the tentative Power release schedule moving forward. What we do know is that Power Book 2 returns for the remaining 5 episodes on Friday, September 6th. Following that, STARZ will release the final 8 episodes of Outlander, going from November 22nd to early 2025. Then Raising Kanan is confirmed to return for the 4th season on March 9th and air until May 11th, 2025. Those are the shows that STARZ has confirmed the release dates for, and for me, Outlander doesn't matter much because I haven't watched a single episode of it. But I did want to mention it to explain why there's going to be about 4 months from the conclusion of Book 2 in October to the premiere of Raising Kanan Season 4 in March. Then I was also told that the final season of Force is now not supposed to premiere until summer of 2025, sometime soon after Raising Kanan Season 4 wraps up. And this is the interesting thing, because last year and earlier in 2024, Season 2 of Force aired before Season 3 of Raising Kanan. And now it looks like they're keeping Raising Kanan on the same schedule, but pushing Force back almost an entire year for its final season. Then following Force airing in the summer of 2025, BMF Season 4 will then air in fall of 2025 if things play out as I've been told they will. Then soon after that will be the final season of Raising Kanan, set to premiere at the end of 2025 or early 2026. At that point, all 3 books that succeeded original Power will be concluded, and sometime in 2026 is when we can expect the new spin-offs to begin rolling out. And yes, I did say spin-offs, plural, and this has now been confirmed. And even though there will be a 4-month break with no Power, the good news is that there will be multiple new Power spin-offs moving forward. Just guessing, I'm expecting there to be 3 to 5 new books launched. And even though there will be a few months break, I was also told it was divine timing. And because of that, I do believe that something big is set to happen next summer when Force airs. And I'm hoping it's the return of James St. Patrick, aka Ghost. But the fact there's other spin-offs in the works other than Origins was confirmed in an article on TheWrap.com with President of STARZ Programming, Catherine Busby. And like I've said in other videos, she made sure to call them Power Books and not spin-offs, meaning they're all chapters of a story like a book. She went on to talk about the potential of the Power franchise and that Origins was just one of the books that is to come, saying that's the only one that they've announced so far. And of course, that makes sense that they're keeping the other potential spin-offs airtight until the conclusion of the other books. It was easy to announce the Ghost and Tommy prequel without spoiling the story because we already knew it was to come at some point anyway. But for the others, we will have to see how the other books conclude before they announce what books are to come. Just like at the end of Power, they announced books 2 through 4. We will likely see the same thing either after book 2 ends or after Force ends. Possibly a spin-off or 2 announced at the conclusion of both. But something to keep in mind is that a lot of characters were killed off Power in the final season, including Andre Coleman, Vincent, Jason Mitchell, Lakeisha Grant, Lindsay and Joe Proctor, Benny Savello, Spanky, Alicia Jimenez, Grimace, Angela. Either though she was shot in season 5, she didn't officially die until season 6. and possibly Ghost, but I still have hope that Ghost will return as a living person, hopefully on one of the upcoming spin-offs that I mentioned. It was also recently announced that 50 Cent is launching a new live TV channel, 50 Action TV. And because of that, I've also heard a lot of people talk about this is the reason why all the books are getting canceled, is because 50 is leaving STARZ and taking power to his own platform, and this is also why he bought the studio in Shreveport. But that isn't true. 50 isn't taking power from STARZ, either though old episodes of Power might air on his network on a scheduled time slot, like 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, for example, or a marathon of Power Season 3 for another example. But I don't think it will be airing new episodes or new seasons of Power. But at the same time, hopefully with the launching of this new station and with his new studio, he comes up with new shows to air on that channel. Also, that could potentially rival Power one day or possibly even be better. I know one thing, I'm sure that the shows will be better than the shows that STARZ tries to produce outside of Power and BMF. But at the same time, when it was announced that Season 4 would be the final season of Force, 50 also posted pretty much echoing what the STARZ programming director said, and said that Power was actually expanding despite the news of the cancellations. So this has me to think that there will be at least 4 new Power books launching according to the definition of expanding. Because if I was a restaurant owner who owned 3 restaurants and said I was expanding, you would assume I mean that I'm opening up a couple more locations. And this is what I took from 50's post regarding the Power universe. And it is now pretty much confirmed. And before I finish, I do also want to talk about what the possible Power books could look like moving forward, starting with Origins. That was already announced. That will be young Ghost and Tommy being raised up by Kanan and Breeze, and then their story moving forward after that as well. Concerning Tommy Egan on our current timeline, when Force announced that Season 3 would be its last, it was also said that Tommy's journey will continue in another city. And hopefully this does mean that Tommy survives Force without being killed or going to prison. But like I said in another video, it could also mean that Tommy's journey is now going to continue on Power Book Origins. But if Tommy does survive, we could possibly see him returning back to New York or headed to California, where he was originally going before stopping in Chicago. The next question is, who will be joining Tommy on his next book? Or would he continue alone like he did when he went to Chicago? The difference is, once Tommy got to Chicago, Tommy found out that he had a brother and a nephew that he cares about, as well as the fact that Tommy has fallen in love again with Mireya, in addition to his partnership with Diamond. So that is a lot of storylines that are question marks moving forward, but like I said to start the video, we should expect to see a lot of bloodshed in these final seasons as well. But unlike Tommy, it wasn't said that we would see Tariq's story continue. This could be because there is no prequel story to tell with Tariq other than what we will see of his early childhood in Origins at some point. So if Tariq does die, it will pretty much be the end of his story. But if Tariq's story does continue, what would it look like, and would it continue in New York or somewhere else? And if Tariq's story does continue, what characters from Book 2 will continue with him? Will it be Tariq and Brayden moving forward in life, setting up shop? Or will it be Tariq trying to settle down as a family man with Diana? Or possibly a combination of both? And where does this leave Tasha St. Patrick? Will she have a bigger role on the next books? There's been a lot of talk about Tasha dying, from myself included, but one reason why I actually think that Tasha will survive is because actress Naturi Naughton, who plays Tasha, did Season 4 while pregnant. So with that said, it would make it harder to film a death scene. Not saying it wouldn't be possible, but to give her a proper death, it would be difficult. And also, could Ghost return? And if he does, what will be his role moving forward? I have discussed this in other videos, but if he does return, I believe it will be under the protection of the federal government, as it was Stephen Ott and the Democratic Party who helped Ghost fake his death in the first place. then sent him out of the country, similar to how Mecha was banned from the States for his own protection. And the other two spinoffs I want to mention is the spinoffs that were once talked about but never moved forward on. And like I've said so many times in regards to this, delay doesn't always mean denied. And when I talk about a possible Tate spinoff, I always have people telling me it was canceled. Like, I don't know that already. But just because it was canceled at one point doesn't mean that the timing wouldn't be right later on down the line, especially adding more characters into the mix. I've talked about in other videos how characters like Lauren Baldwin, RSJ, Ramona Garrity, to name a few, could actually transition into the Rashad Tate spinoff influence. And I've also talked about a Lobos prequel that was once talked about amongst the Power creators, and how that would air concurrently on the same timeline as Origins until the two meet and Ghost opens up Truth at the beginning of Power Season 1. In that prequel, we would get the Lobos backstory as well as the backstory of his family, the Garcias, from Power Book Force. If you haven't watched my other videos linking the Garcia family to Felipe Lobos, make sure to go on my page and check that video out as well. And those are just a few of the possibilities. Realistically, any Power character alive could get a potential spinoff, as well as the dead characters could get a prequel of their own, or make a special appearance in one of the prequels already airing. And there you have it. Who would you like to see get their own book, whether it's in the form of a spinoff or prequel? Let me know in the comments.